At 6:02 in the morning, before my coffee had even finished dripping, I watched a man unload a drill from the back of a locksmith van and set it down on my driveway like he owned the place. Behind him stood the HOA president, smiling at the neighbors gathering on the sidewalk, and in that moment I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. This was an eviction attempt, and they were doing it to the legal owner of the house. 3 weeks earlier, I'd closed on this place the boring correct way. Recorded deed, clean title, insurance bound, no drama. I didn't buy this house to flip it or to make a statement or to fight anyone. I bought it because I wanted quiet ownership, a front door that was mine, a driveway I could pull into without asking permission. That was it. The neighborhood had an HOA, sure, but nothing about it felt unusual at first. Standard rules, lawn height, trash days, the kind of thing you roll your eyes at and move on. I figured I'd keep my head down, follow the basics, live my life. That illusion lasted exactly 4 days. The first thing that tipped me off was an email, a welcome message from the HOA management portal. Polite tone, corporate formatting, one attachment. I almost deleted it without opening it. Almost. The attachment title stopped me cold. Executive Residence Allocation. Internal. That didn't sound like anything a homeowner should be receiving. I opened it. My address was listed in bold. Underneath it, an assigned occupant. A move-in date. None of it was me. For a second, I just stared at the screen. That strange hollow pause where your brain hasn't decided yet whether this is a joke, a scam, or a real problem. My first instinct wasn't panic. It was doubt. Did I miss something? Was there some clause buried in the HOA docs I hadn't caught? Some loophole that made ownership conditional? That's what they wanted. I see that now. The goal wasn't force yet. The goal was doubt. Make me question my own footing. So instead of replying, I preserved everything. I saved the email with full headers, exported the attachment, checked the file properties. The creation timestamp was the night after my deed recorded with the county. That went into a folder on my desktop labeled with the date. I didn't know it yet, but that was the first brick in the wall I was about to build. 2 days later, she introduced herself. Her name was Linda Parker, HOA president. She didn't knock on my door. She waited for me at the community mailbox cluster right around the time people usually drift through before work. She wore a blazer, light makeup, calm smile. The kind of smile that's meant to make you look unreasonable if you push back. She didn't waste time with pleasantries. "We don't allow unauthorized occupants," she said loud enough for the people nearby to hear. "This property is part of our executive housing plan." I remember the word plan sticking out in my head, like this was something orderly, official, pre-decided. "I'm the recorded owner," I said. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. "If you have a concern, put it in writing." She didn't blink. "You cannot live here," she said, like she was quoting policy. "Not until the board recognizes rightful occupancy." That was the moment I understood what this really was. A social eviction. Say it publicly. Say it confidently. Let the neighborhood absorb it as truth. She walked away like the conversation was over. A man named Mark, 2 houses down, leaned in and said quietly, "I heard that. If you need a statement, I'll back you up." I asked him to email it to me that day with the date and time. He did. By that afternoon, the pressure shifted from words to systems. The HOA portal started firing off requests. Upload a lease. Provide employer contact. Complete occupant verification. Each one framed like a routine administrative step. But I knew what they were doing. If they could get me categorized as a tenant instead of an owner, everything would be easier for them. I responded once. One message. Owner occupied. Deed recorded. County recording number attached. Correct your records. Then I took screenshots of the submission confirmation and ticket number. I didn't argue. I documented. 2 days later, the inconvenience campaign began. Trash service stopped without warning. My utility app showed an ownership change request pending review. That evening, my homeowner's insurance agent called to ask why the property was being flagged as non-owner occupied. That was the first time the doubt really crept in. Not the sharp panic kind, the slow grinding kind. The kind that asks, what if they actually can do this? What if the systems they control are stronger than the truth I'm holding? I kept my voice flat on every call. I did not authorize any changes. I said over and over, document the request source and send it to me in writing. By nightfall, I had emails from the waste company, the utility provider, and my insurer, all confirming the same thing. Requests initiated by the HOA management company. Then they crossed a line that couldn't be walked back. I was in my kitchen when I heard the rumble of a truck outside, a box truck backing into my driveway. I stepped out and saw movers unloading wrapped furniture labeled staging, CEO family. Linda stood on the public sidewalk, arms folded, pointing like a supervisor. She never touched a thing. She didn't have to. Contractors were doing the intrusion for her. Stop, I said. Who hired you? One of the movers handed me the work order. Customer name, the HOA management company. Contact number, Linda's. The plan was obvious. Get items inside, create momentum, pretend occupancy had already happened. I didn't touch the furniture. I photographed the truck's DOT number, the work order, and Linda directing from the curb. That night I sent certified letters to the HOA's registered agent. Cease interference, correct records, preserve communications, identify the authority for any executive residence claim. Not a rant, a demand. I also opened a title insurance claim. They answered with paper meant to scare me. The portal posted administrative penalties. A PDF titled Executive Repossession Notice warned that compliance action would occur within 24 hours. That was my lowest point. I won't pretend otherwise. I sat on my couch staring at my front door, and for the first time I wondered if fighting this was worth it. If maybe I should just walk away. If maybe I was wrong, or tired, or alone. But then I noticed what wasn't there. No court order, no judge's name, no seal, just authority cosplay. So I forwarded everything to my attorney. Monday morning they tried to turn paper into access. My camera pinged. Locksmith van. Linda in her blazer. 2 board members flanking her. Neighbors in robes on the sidewalk. She wanted an audience. I didn't open the door. The association is taking possession, she announced. You're being removed for non-compliance. I called the non-emergency line, titled Homeowner. Unlawful lockout in progress. Requesting an officer. While we waited, I recorded through the window, zoomed in on the locksmith's work order, caught Linda saying clearly that I was being removed. I texted Mark to email what he heard. When the deputy arrived, he didn't engage the performance. Do you have a court order? He asked. Linda lifted a package of papers. Board authority, executive housing, unauthorized occupant. He didn't take them. He looked at me. Are you the owner? I showed him the county recorder page on my phone. My name, my address, recording number, date. He turned back to Linda. An HOA cannot remove a titled owner without a court order. You do not change locks. If you want possession, you file in civil court. Linda raised her voice. He's obstructing executive occupancy. Then she made the mistake that ended everything. She pointed at my door and said loud enough for the whole sidewalk to hear, "You cannot live here. Not after today." The deputy's posture changed. That sounds like an unlawful eviction attempt, he said. Do you want to make a report, sir? Yes, I said. And I want a trespass warning for everyone here acting without a court order. The locksmith packed up. The movers left. An incident number was handed to me like a receipt for reality. The next morning, my attorney filed for an emergency restraining order. In court, Linda showed up confident, dressed like a professional, acting like I was an inconvenience. The judge didn't care about confidence. He cared about authority. What is the contractual or statutory basis for restricting a titled owner's occupancy? He asked. Linda started talking about the board. The judge cut her off. Clause, statute, court order. Which one? Silence has weight in a courtroom. The order was signed that day. No contact, no vendor interference, full preservation of communications. After that, everything unraveled fast. The HOA voided the penalties, retracted the repossession notice, issued corrections to every vendor. The management company terminated Linda's admin access. The board removed her as president and barred her from serving again. A month later, a letter arrived stating what had been true all along. I am the lawful owner. The HOA has no authority to restrict occupancy. I filed it, because calm is nice, but documentation is safety. Power only works when people believe in it, and the fastest way to make it collapse is to make it prove itself.